HSP disrupts the spinal systems that control walking. But disruption doesn't mean they're gone. In this video, explores how training can lower tone, reduce brain over-control, and let the spine take back more of the work. This isn't a cure. It's a strategy for working with the nervous system that's still there. Doesn't train with one kind of exercise. He trains with 9. Some are steady and rhythmic. Some are slow and calming. Some build strength. Others challenge balance or speed. A few are short and sharp. At first glance, these might look like a random mix. But they're not. Each activity does a different job for the nervous system. Doesn't treat all movement as equal. He groups them into 4 tiers, based on what they ask of the nervous system. Tier 1 sets the foundation. It restores rhythm and safety. Tier 2 builds capacity without breaking that rhythm. Tier 3 supports everything else by keeping the system flexible. And Tier 4? That's where the risk lives. Powerful, but only useful when the system is ready. In the next slides, we'll look closely at why each activity sits where it does. One of the most important distinctions in this program is how much an activity relies on the cortex. In HSP, the corticospinal system is damaged. So activities that demand constant precision, timing, or inhibition often come at a cost. Some movements can succeed with very little cortical supervision. Others benefit from a bit of guidance. And a few require the cortex to stay fully engaged, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid early on. In the next slide, will show us how the other spinal systems step in when the cortex is allowed to rest. In the last slide, we looked at how much different activities rely on conscious brain control. This slide shows the other side of the story. When the cortex doesn't have to micromanage movement, other spinal systems step in. That's why sustained, rhythmic, lower-threat movement matters so much. It doesn't just feel easier. It literally changes who is doing the work. The goal of IDASH's program isn't to push the brain harder, it's to give the spine the conditions it needs to do its job again. Before any exercise comes the framework behind it. For sustained comes before intense, and confidence comes before challenge. Rhythm matters more than precision, and tone always comes before fitness. These aren't fitness rules. They're nervous system rules. Calm comes before effort. The right tool matters. And not every activity is meant to help in the same way. These principles shape every choice in the program. Once we start thinking in terms of tone, an important pattern shows up. Not every activity lowers tone. And that's okay. Some movements reset tone. Some maintain it between sessions. Others only work after tone has already dropped. And some don't change tone directly at all, they just remove barriers. Problems happen when we ask an activity to do a job it's not designed to do. At the end of the day, the question isn't how hard an activity is. It's what it gives back to the nervous system. Some movements reliably lower tone and keep it down. Some help, but only a little. And some can backfire if the system isn't ready. This is what means by return on tone. The goal is to spend most of your time where the payoff is high, and use the rest carefully, for specific reasons. This program isn't built around what does. It's built around how much time each kind of movement deserves. Most of the time goes to activities that reliably lower tone and let the spine take the lead. Some things help maintain those gains. Some expand them, but only when conditions are right. And a few things? They're powerful, but only in small doses. This is the core idea. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things in the right proportions. Those proportions look different at different stages of HSP. Walking independently, using a cane, a walker, or a wheelchair all call for different mixes. What stays constant is the principle: manage tone, reduce brain over-control, and let the spinal systems do as much of the work as they can. This video focused on movement. But movement is only part of the journey. Other videos explore how I tracks daily tone, and how he learns to step out of constant sympathetic drive and into calmer parasympathetic states. Because with HSP, how the nervous system feels often matters as much as what the body does. This is I-'s lived example. Not a prescription. Just one way of listening to the nervous system.